Good morning, friends. This morning, deliberation is on Tagore's philosophy of education. Friends, Dr. Rabindranath Tagore always emphasized on a connection with nature, human connection with nature. Tagore's educational philosophy rejected rigid rote-based learning in favor of a holistic stress. We actually his philosophy education always emphasized on holistic development, a stress-free approach connected to nature and the arts. Three elements he emphasized in his educational philosophy. Number one was the child's or the individual holistic development. That is the core of education. The second one was stress-free education approach and connection to nature. It is very important for every child or for every human being to be connected to nature because nature is the best teacher. He also believed that education should foster creativity, self realization, and global citizenship rather than career preparation. Okay, one of the aspects of education undoubtedly is career preparation. Everyone wants to have a covetous career. That is one aspect of education. But education is multi aspects. It is having multi aspects. The most important aspect of education is to have to make the child holistically develop and to make him or her free from stress and get him connected to nature. So his philosophy of education also emphasized to foster creativity, self-realization, and global citizenship rather than simply building career. If you are not a good human being, even if you are having the best career of the world, you will never be in peace and you will never be productive to the society. So, friends, Tagore's revolutionary ideas on education largely shaped his critique of the colonial system and his founding of the famous Vishwabharati University and in Santiniketan. Nature as the ultimate teacher. Tagore believed that nature is the ultimate teacher. We actually learn a lot of things from nature. So nature is an ultimate teacher. Tagore believed that classrooms should be extended beyond four walls. He championed open air learning, allowing students to experience the changing seasons and connect deeply with the natural world. It is very important for every individual to be deeply connected with the natural world because nature is having a compact learning scope. It is completely a very good teacher. Nature teaches us a lot of things. So he criticized the that only keeping the student in the four wall, never allowing them to go and paint the picture in the open air to understand the biological complexity of flowers and trees, to learn from the nature how to really sustain this universe because nature sustains the entire life of the world. Therefore, Tagore's philosophy was just an idea that nature is the ultimate teacher. He said that keeping the child within the four walls ultimately makes him confined to only the four walls. He championed open air learning, allowing students to experience the changing season and connect deeply with the natural world. That is an example of that Vishwabharati and that Santiniketan. These are the examples that his concept of education is still valid. Though we have passed 100 years of educational change, yet the concept of connecting nature with education, connecting nature with mind and soul is still valid. Integration of arts and aesthetic. See, long before he emphasized on art integrated learning, which now CBSE has made an integral part of teaching and learning curriculum, and the methodology of making teaching more interesting, more productive, and more viable. The CBSE has incorporated art integrated learning. Long ago, he emphasized on integration of arts and aesthetics with education. He emphasized that music, dance, poetry, and painting are vital for holistic development. The child must have interest for playing some instrument. The child must be interested in singing or dancing, because these are the natural talents that every individual must have. If you do not love music, if you do not love art, painting, that you will never develop creativity. Art and painting, they are the biggest resources of creativity. Your mind, your imagination works faster when you are painting a picture, when you are drawing a landscape. Your imagination, your thoughts, your inner, perception comes out in the form of painting and drawing. In this similar manner, music and dance are the portrayal of our soul. Actually, music correlates soul and mind, and it soothed our all and makes us stress free. So these are the elements: painting, music, dance, poetry. These are the elements which must be incorporated all the time to make education holistic and make education more developing. The holistic development of the child cannot be possible unless and until we should make music, dance, poetry, painting, and art as a part of everyday's learning. It should not be one day that there will be a drawing competition. No, let the teaching learning be integrated with painting, drawing, dance, music. That is, then it will really make the teaching learning scenario wonderful. It will make more enjoyable, because children learn through art better than lecture and other things. So that is a scientific way. Tagore also said that aesthetic expressions was just as important as cognitive and scientific learning. Oh, well, scientific and cognitive learning are indispensable, but besides those, cognitive learning and scientific learning, it is equally important to develop aesthetic expressions among the children. Freedom over discipline. Too much discipline is not good for the all-round development of the child. If you are making the child completely, restricted from any expression, he argued against oppressive fear-based discipline. Do not create fear among the mind of the learner that you are not an educator. You are rather a sergeant or a major or a army general who has come to make you learn only the discipline. Discipline has a wider sense. Fearless discipline is more viable and more applicable to this world. Let the child's mind be free from all kinds of fear and anxiety, and let him be self-disciplined. If a child is not self-disciplined, how long you will have a that formula, spare the rod, spoil the. That is not going to work now in this scenario. The present scenario demands fearless, fear-free discipline. Instead, he advocated for threefold freedom. First, freedom of heart. Freedom of heart means whatever your heart allows, you must express. You must talk through your heart. Second one was freedom of intellect. Freedom of intellect allows you to grow, naturally. And freedom of, third one, freedom of, soul. That also is important. Freedom of heart, freedom of intellect, and freedom of wish and desire, will. That whatever you wish, you must proceed for that. Allowing the children to learn their own pace and explore their unique potential. Give the freedom to the children to explore their own potential rather than restricting them in one direction. Let them grow naturally. Let them grow, in an atmosphere of freedom. Then he emphasized on global citizenship. He didn't believe in simply a single citizenship. He said that we must foster to navigate through nationalism, narrow nationalism, rather than we should go for global nationalism. He envisages education as a bridge between culture, promoting intellectual cooperation and universal brotherhood. If we are not integrating one another, if the entire globe is not integrated in one thread of unity, it is very difficult to sustain, because you see the present condition. There is war. Ukraine Russia war is going on for several years. Recently we have Iran and Israel and USA war, and that has not only damaged the peace and global brotherhood, but it has also bridged a big gap between humanity and humanity. So global citizenship is very important. According to Tagore, it is important to foster global citizenship rather than narrow nationalism. He also emphasizes education as a bridge between culture, promoting international cooperation and universal brotherhood. Joyful learning. He famously described that learning must be joyful. It should fulfill the human desire. It should make us completely, it should bring, the process of learning must bring fullness to human life, advocating for activity based learning rather than simple lecture, excursion, creative art, and going around some cities and learning from traveling. So he also advocated for activity based learning, which is now becoming a tool for modern education. Therefore, excursion, taking the children out on geographical tour, scientific tour, these will add to the holistic development of the child. So friends, passive learning will never, only textbook learning will not help. Let us connect every child to the beautiful world of nature. Let us explore in the child the immense potential of developing self-expression rather than imposing our own thought upon the child. So this is about Tagore's philosophy of education, and I am sure what CBSE has emphasized these days is completely a part of Tagore's concept of learning. What Tagore advocated that time is very much valid at the present educational scenario. So friends, allow the children, when if you are connected with education, if you are a parent, if you are an educator, allow the children to come out of the four walls of the classroom and see the nature, interact with the nature, connect with nature, because nature directly connects with heart and soul. And if a child is not having empathy, heart and soul, he is only a machine, a robot. So robotic education is no more going to develop the child holistically. So friends, certainly Tagore's philosophy of education is still valid, and it is very much aimed at fostering holistic development in every individual, and that is what I believe, Edison believe. Thank you. This is Edison on the channel Is English by Edison. Thanks a lot.